We're live. Called order. Time is now 6:04 p.m. Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance using the flag in the front of the room. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is that your computer? Someone keeps beeping. All right. Roll call.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Here.
Vice Mayor DeVille is not going to be attending the meeting tonight. Mayor Jacobs,
Here.
we have a meeting.
Additions, deletions, and withdrawals to the agenda. Do you have any? Go back and check real quick. I don't think I have any here. And let me check my notes. 1 second, sorry. None. Let's, no changes to the agenda. Presentations. We have none. All right. And we'll start with reports and committee staff. 6.1, Fire Department, Chief Kane.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Clerk Commissioner, and city staff, town staff, excuse me. Battalion Chief Michael Kane, Broward Sheriff's Office Fire Rescue, presenting statistics for the month of December. In the month of December, in the town, we ran 6 structure fires, 38 vehicle accidents, 12 fire alarms, 123 medical calls, and 4 service calls for a total of 183 calls, which is on par with previous months.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Anything of any concerns?
We did have I know you were there on scene. We did have a vehicle accident several weeks ago. We responded, our technical rescue team here in the town. The outcome was good. I know you were there. But there's been a couple of structure fires recently, commercial buildings that we responded to. I'm happy to say in most of these events, well, actually in all the structure fires, we're able to very quickly put a lot of hands on deck. Generally speaking, anywhere from 30 to 70 firefighters will arrive on scene here on a structure fire, depending on whether or not it's a residential or a commercial building. And we do that very, very quickly. Within about 20 minutes, we can put about 50 to 70 firefighters here on the scene. All the structure fires that we've had recently, we've limited to usually the room of contents, but certainly the building of origin in all cases, at least. So I'm happy to say that. So we haven't had any major casualties here in the town.
Good.
And that's my report.
Okay, and I can say I can confirm exactly what you're saying because several major incidents, I show up when something happens, and there are firefighters and trucks and hoses and everything strung everywhere, and it's a well organized group of people. So I'm very grateful for what we have, you guys.
We're happy to provide a service.
I do have one question for you.
Sure.
The chief and myself, we'd like to include you if you would like to be part of it. We're going to put in a little public safety meeting in the future with our business owners to bring them up to speed with the new police department, have them meet the chiefs, the executive staff, along with a couple of the officers. I'd like to know if you would like to be involved with that, be here,
Absolutely.
say hi.
Absolutely.
So it's up to you. You don't have to. If not, it's kind of more for the police, but I always want to include you involved.
Absolutely.
So, okay. I'll let you know when that
Grateful.
date and
Thank you.
time is. We'll put it together.
Certainly.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any questions?
Have a good night. Thank you.
Have a good one. All right. 7, planning consultant, Michael V. Got a presentation from you.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, our Commissioner, Mike Vondermeulen with Keith. I'll go ahead and make a brief presentation. We have 3 items in front of you today, just to be workshopped. You've seen these before. These are more of the final versions. What's going to happen is the ordinances will be brought to you for public hearings. The two readings are required for those ordinances. So the first is, excuse me, let's go ahead and I'll start with the presentation. So, y'all familiar with the 30th Avenue, the study that we prepared, and I was told what was taking you so long, so here we are. So we have 3 different applications. 22 CP is the land use plan amendment. 22 RZ01 is the creation of the mixed use district. So that is the text. We'll probably go through that the most in this workshop. And then the last item, 22 RZ04, which is the rezoning. Excuse me, that's a typo. That's going to be B1 and M1 to the MXC district. This is the impact area. It's all the property on 30th Avenue from Pembroke Road down to Hallandale Beach Boulevard. The text amendment, here are the proposed uses. It's to allow the commercial recreation, entertainment venues, offices, retail, restaurants, hotel, and residential. A full basket of mixed uses that will be available for this area. Non-conforming uses would be allowed to remain as long as they're current and consistent with Article 5 of the town's code. And that is active occupational license, no expansions, things like that. To continue on the text amendment, I think I might just go through each section. And I guess first, do any of the commissioners or the mayor have any questions about the text?
Do you have any questions?
Not about the text.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, we went through the permitted uses. We have specific use regulations. So residential in the commercial land use that we're going to requires the allocation of flex. And so we, at the previous meeting, there was the request to go to the Planning Council to request an additional 563 units. That's town-wide, and we created that map, which is called a flex receiving map in 30th Avenue, along with Hallandale Beach Boulevard, are essentially the two areas that would be receiving those flex units as site plans come in and as the town commission approves. In here, there is an affordable housing requirement that 15% of the units be affordable. And then in here, there's a waiver provision. So if there's a developer who comes in and has a project that's just incredible, however, they can't meet that 15% requirement for some reason or another, they can come to the town and request that. And it would be, voted on based on its merits. We are trying to mirror what is commonly called in Broward County the Geller Amendment. I'm not sure if the town if this has been mentioned to the town previously, but there are 2 policies in the Broward County Comprehensive Plan that have really incentivized developers for redeveloping property and providing affordable housing units. And by doing so, there are major benefits to the town and to the developers for this. There is a essentially a ratio that is created. So for every affordable housing unit, so if it, and the affordable housing units are broken into very low, low, and essentially moderate or workforce housing. So that ranges, I believe, anywhere from I think close to 60 to 70% of the median income, all the way up to 120% of the median income in terms of workforce housing. Workforce housing really intended for police, fire, essential service workers. So in those three categories, there are different benefits to the developer and to the town. So say a very low unit, I believe it is so for every very low unit that is provided on the project, indeed restricted that way, there are 19 additional units that do not come out of that 563 pool. There are units that are being provided by Broward County and not penalizing or jeopardizing the town's pool of flex units. So it's a 19:1 ratio, and I think it goes down from there. And I'm preparing presentations for Planning and Zoning Board, as well as to this commission. We'll probably be coming with some text amendments over the next several months to help mirror and memorialize those benefits that are afforded in the Broward County Comprehensive Plan. We have provided a density here on in this mixed use district. The maximum density at this time would be 50 units to the acre. Then there is in the next section a density bonus provision. So if you provide any of the items under item D under density bonuses, this include LEED certification or green building certification, public art, and properties with upper level pedestrian connections, and also structured parking to accommodate the project. And that will allow the town to grant an additional 50 units to the acre, to a maximum of 100 units to the acre. Then let me jump back just one more time. I know I'm trying to go through this really quick. If you have any questions, please interrupt me. What we had tried to do in our office is the way the entire text is set up is it mirrors the other zoning districts that you already have in your zoning code. So we're using the purpose, the permitted uses, specific regulations, the not permitted uses. All that follows very similar to your B1s, your multifamily, and your industrial zoning districts. They all follow this pretty much the same format. And so that we wanted to make it friendly and usable and similar to what the rest of the town sees in the zoning code. I just wanted to emphasize that.
I think my biggest issue with all that development they want down there, I mean, we definitely would love to have it, but where's the traffic gonna go? I don't see an out there.
Hollandale Beach and Pembroke Road.
Yeah.
They're two main thoroughfares.
Yeah, it takes me an hour and a half to go 2 miles.
That's Hollandale.
That's Hollandale Beach Boulevard.
Hollandale Beach Boulevard past 95. That's Hollandale, the city of Hollandale, not Pembroke Park.
I understand, but people are gonna be coming out of this area.
They got the 95 right there too.
Northeast and west.
Access on both sides, Pembroke Road and Hollandale Beach Boulevard.
That's correct. And I believe there'll be a little bit more wayfinding as well, because I think to access Interstate 95, it's much easier to access it from Pembroke Road as you're making that right turn. And it's essentially,
You can't have better access for traffic flow than what we have right there at those intersections. It's Hollandale Beach Boulevard Pembroke Park or Pembroke Road, two major thoroughfares. The 95 is within 100 feet.
I understand that part of it. I was just saying that when you, I live 1.5 miles where my wife works, and it takes me 40 minutes to get there. So it isn't like if you start dumping hundreds of cars out onto either one of those roads, you're gonna have a problem.
And as it sits right now, we bring in no tax revenue, and we have a failing area where warehouses are sitting empty, buildings are sitting empty, and the town looks horrible right along the freeway there.
Yeah, it does.
This is mass improvement for the town and bringing prosperity to the community where it's failing.
I don't need a sales pitch.
I'm just saying that's it. You can't get better traffic flow than what we have right there.
I would love to see buildings like this, all around town here, but I just really concerned about the flow.
Yeah, and I think I think the flow, and I'm hoping that the flow will kind of take care of itself. Yet, yes, there's going to be additional traffic. Yes, there's going to be some stacking issues, depending on the number of developments that occur on this road. But I think because of its close proximity to I-95, and I think the flow of the traffic is going to work extremely well, because most of the traffic is going to remain on 30th. The stacking, to get onto Pembroke Road and to get onto 95, that's that will all be stacked on 30th, in the first section there. The flow in should not be impeded in either direction.
Well, it won't be as bad, yeah.
True. So I don't believe that the additional traffic that's being generated by the project will affect Hallandale Beach Boulevard and Pembroke Boulevard as much. Granted, we always talk about traffic engineers as smoke and mirrors, because for some reason traffic never gets generated by any of the projects that they propose. But realistically, I think the flow and the unimpeded access from eastbound Hallandale Beach Boulevard into 30th, and then westbound out, and you have the traffic light there at Pembroke Road, so you actually have both directions. I think the traffic flow is going to be much better and not as impactful on those two major east-west thoroughfares.
I'll keep my fingers crossed on that.
And me personally, I absolutely love to see it because this town has been dying for decades of mismanagement, corruption, and the mismanagement's been horrible around here. This adds to the community and builds it back up where it's sitting so stagnant. With the 7 new projects on Hollandale, it really adds to it. And this gives us a big piece of commercial property or commercial
really does.
development to the town.
It gives the town a lot of development potential, a lot of potential for tax base, a lot of potential for recognition, and I think the benefit is that it's buffered. It's very linear. The way it's set up, and because it's essentially sandwiched in between I-95 and the railroad track, you have some buffers there from any other, especially lower density residential. But I mean, there's still golf courses and commercial and industrial on certain sides, so there's still additional buffers. But I believe it's great to have. I think it's a less impactful area. It's probably it's a very, very good location for this type of development.
Especially with the tracks there.
I've looked at it, and I think it is too. I think it's a great spot to build something there. I'd love to see a little small 10-story buildings there or something like that, or 8-story, whatever the limit is.
Yep.
It's 10 stories.
Just worried about that traffic.
Okay. After the it's the prohibited uses, we go on to the next page, where you have the height restrictions. Right now, the maximum height in the city is about 100 feet in the B1 district. We're proposing a maximum height of 150 feet, and then potential bonuses. Again, more for the artwork, structured parking, vehicle charging. more items like that. Again, any building over 100 feet in height will require review and determination of no hazard from the FAA. Yeah, we may be limited by North Perry. And the you're in an area that impacts it, but you're on the edge. So I think once the FAA does the additional studies, I believe that you should be able to get these kind of heights. But we did put that caveat in there to make everybody aware that anything over 100 feet will require the FAA approval.
Excellent.
Floor area, there wasn't any maximum floor area. The setbacks we brought down to 0. So the theory behind that, not to have you worry that somebody's going to build property line, you're still going to be required to drain the property. You're still going to require to provide some landscaping. A little bit further on in here, we'll go through these road sections. That is going to encroach a lot on some of these properties in terms of the first several feet, between 5 to 10 feet, and we have some options in there. So the feel and the look is mainly along the street and that front facade, and that's the major emphasis that you'll see through this whole text. So we provided the 2 exhibits. This is Southwest 30th Avenue, abutting I-95 and not abutting 95. Is essentially a 55-foot roadway. It has 2 travel lanes. It has on-street parking and landscape buffers. On the side that is next to the building, we call it Landscape and Pedestrian Zone 2. That's for additional landscaping, wide sidewalks, so you can have the 8-foot sidewalks. And if there's any additional sidewalks or openings on the private property, it's all right there. So it becomes pedestrian friendly. We're envisioning on-street parking and landscaping where there is no on-street parking, and in those areas, you're going to have where people feel safe. You've got that half-ton vehicle separating you from any kind of moving traffic. We really didn't touch the off-street parking requirements, but we do mention in here, and I think it's probably the best way to handle it without going into any kind of full-blown analysis or restricting the town to one particular type of shared parking requirement. What we say is, the requirement is you need to meet 100% of the required parking. But we recognize that when you have a mix of uses, there are demands that there's certain uses will require more parking at certain particular times, and that the onus is going to be on the developer to provide that information from a reputable traffic engineer to go ahead and provide the demand study. And we have said that we will recognize ITEs, ULIs, and APAs. All of them have provided shared parking studies and analysis. Those are ones that are be just in general, and then if there's something more specific to the project because of the uniqueness of the project, then it's going to be it's part of the site plan approval process. Then there's the on-street parking, and that's recommended to be placed either on-street parking and landscaping in the 2 areas that are identified on the roadway plan. The next one is something unique, and we mentioned it, and I think this is good to have a workshop. If if there's any concerns about this, what we do is we provide the idea of leasing the air rights of 30th Avenue to a developer. So if a developer does come in, needed in this, when you do the analysis on some of these properties are a little bit on the small side. So it might be that one that decides to come to the town and says, instead of paying too much money for the guy to the north or south of me, why don't I go to the city and find out, what type of parameters. And what we've said is, so you are eligible to enter into that lease with the town, so that it leaves the town attorney quite a bit of leeway. And then we have the one main restriction is that the first 30 feet needs to be open for light, air, maintenance, and utilities. That's 3 stories. That gives you a good clearance for anything that may occur underneath that area, and then it would be up to the town whether or not they believe that is a good idea. And I want to just make sure that is a unique situation, and I want to make sure that everybody's really comfortable with something like that. Then we have, towards the end here, are additional design standards. So these are unique to the mixed-use entertainment district. It talks about the landscape and pedestrian zones. It's mainly to, it tells you the type of things that we'd like to see in there, including street furniture, including on-street parking, including landscaping. So it's just not, just straight pavement and a couple of lines. We're really trying to encourage creativity by the architects, by their design team, to provide, on-street, amenities that complement the town and that would be consistent along 30th Avenue. Landscape pedestrian 2, because there are certain areas of 30th Avenue, especially after you make the S turn, it gets kind of small in there. We have left the option in there about trying to create a pedestrian-friendly area, but if it is needed, because the way the development is designed, there could be some waiver provisions in there. We encourage the active uses on the ground floor. We're looking for 70% of the ground floor facade to be clear glass. Again, if for some reason, based on the design or based on their loading and parking requirements and entrances to get in, because maybe it's one of the thinner lots, and 24 to 30 feet of it, all of a sudden you don't have that much of a facade. There is a waiver provision in here in case for some reason somebody cannot meet it. But for the most part, we're looking, our goal is to get 70% of that front facade as clear glass and active uses. We're encouraging upper level. So besides from the active ground level, we're looking at upper levels where possibly there could be connections between property owners, where if one or two folks have their parking deck all at the 4th level, and they're all within a couple of feet of each other, if there's ways of putting in bridges, walkway systems, to encourage that you could travel, then you'd have this upper level entertainment area. That is what what we're really trying to encourage, and encourage that you go and you park in one place, and then you're able to move around to all the other locations, whether it's a lobby bar or a, the pool area or amenity, or if there's retail or restaurants at that level, or even a different level. So that's the encouragement, and there's also, it goes back to those incentives of additional density and additional height to meet those requirements. And it's always going to be incumbent to us, because it's in the code, that cross access easements are provided. So that the first person who comes in, we're aware, we request the cross access agreement either through the developer's agreement or a separate agreement that goes with the site plan. Then when the next person comes in, it's like, oh, by the way, do you know that you're allowed on the fourth level in this 20 feet right here? You're able to connect. Can you redesign your site to match that? So we're not we're trying to create that idea of that upper level connection from the very beginning. And that's being codified here in this code, so that when that first person comes in, it's like, no, I'm not going to let you connect, which it just always seems to be the problem. So we're going to do it from project one, so that possibility is there and encouraged. Back house and the loading area. What we're trying to do here is make sure that you just can't see the dump when you're on 30th Avenue. You're driving, you can't see the dumpster, you can't see the loading area. The truck's got to make that 90-degree or 45-degree turn in, and that there is a piece of that first floor building facade that is shielding the loading area from the street. Screening of the parking structures. Again, this is, I think, there are affordable ways of doing this. I don't think we wanted to require liner units. We will encourage liner units, but there are other creative screens that you can place on the structured parking, which will end up being the first 3, 4, maybe 5 stories of a building. And we wanted to make sure that also includes the railroad side. So I think in here we specify, maybe at the ground level that may be open, but as the higher you go up, and the more residents can see from looking east, then they'll still be able to be screened. The vehicles would be screened from view from the residences.
I know there's a lot of pollution that comes from 95. I get it on my car every morning. I have to go out and wash my car every morning.
Yeah.
It's polluted. And they would have the same effect there. They would have to do something.
Well, if it depending on how well this is received by the development community, hopefully that dust and soot from there will stay on their buildings and not travel over.
I want to see how that works.
Lastly is just bicycle parking, just making the developer aware that again you're encouraging all this activity on the ground level. You're encouraging this upper level. You're encouraging this high density and mixed use where depending on how successful it is, there could be people who just don't have a car. It's cheaper to order a Lyft or ride their bike to certain areas that they need to outside of this area, either for groceries or for a doctor's appointment. But for the most part, they could be working in this area. They could be living in this area, and not have the need for parking, for a vehicle or parking space. And it's great to have that Uber Lyft opportunities that that you have nowadays that can encourage less vehicle parking, and I think that would be reflected in a lot of those shared parking studies as well.
There's quite a bit of EV stuff going forward. Scooters, bicycles,
Yes.
EV bikes. I know the big rideshare companies all have their own different brand for those. I just got back from DC and they've increased the amount they had there than I was there last year.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
kinda neat.
amazing. It depends on the city that how it's accepted and how it's adopted.
true.
And essentially that includes the design standards that we have for this. Here to answer any questions, if there's any concerns, any changes that you'd like to see in here. This will be a great time before we finalize the changes and.
I like the way it all came together. You know me, I'll call you and email if there's anything that really stands out, and I don't see anything that really stands out. I just density is 50 dwellings per acre, with high density being the 100 dwellings per acre. How many acreage? How many acres do we have in that area there? Do you remember offhand?
Net, it's like 16.
Okay. Okay. So that adds some quite a bit of residential to our district or to our town as well.
Correct. Yep. It can.
It can. It has the potential to. How's that?
Right. I think there's particular interest right now in hotel,
Yeah.
and then the amenities that go with that hotel. I think there were some units, residential units that go with that hotel, at least for the concept that I saw. So it's coming right out of the bat. You have looks like the developers are agreeing with the visions that we're providing.
And this has just been progressing forward, and I love the way it's come about. So I do not have any more questions. Do you?
No, that was good. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Now, ordinance. This is planning consultant 7.2. This is 22 CP 03 land use planning amendment LUPA. Ordinance number 2023-001. Town attorney, could you read it by title?
Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor.
I hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. The item is an ordinance to the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, adopting an amendment to the town's future land use map for approximately 16.56 acres of real property, generally located along Southwest 30th Avenue, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached here to and incorporated herein, references the property, amending the property's land use from industrial to commercial, directing the town clerk to provide certified copies of the ordinance to the proposed amendment to the appropriate parties, requesting Broward County to amend its land use and authorize Broward County Planning Council to transmit a copy of the amendment to the State of Florida Department of Economic Opportunity on behalf of the town and any other entities, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right. Do you have any
Just, I believe all these items then would go on to the next commission.
next reading as a line item?
Yeah, line
Yep.
up.
All right. Do you have any questions on that one?
No, I don't.
Okay. Then let's just move it to a line item. Make it easy on you this time.
Okay.
All right. 7.3, 22 ZR01, text amendment application MEX district, ordinance number 2023-002. Town attorney, can you read it by title only, please?
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, ordinance 2023-002 is an ordinance of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending chapter 28 entitled zoning, creating division 5.8 to be entitled MXE, that's the mixed use entertainment district, providing regulations for the mixed-use entertainment district, providing for definitions, providing intent and purpose, providing for permitted uses and specific use regulations, providing for height restrictions, providing floor area regulations, providing for setbacks, providing for parking, providing a geographic area, providing for development standards, providing for codification, conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right. You have any questions? Line item for 7.3. 7.4, 22ZR04, rezoning B1 and M1 to MXE. Ordinance number 2023-003. Town Attorney, could you read it by title only, please?
Again, thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 2003, an ordinance of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, relating to chapter 28, zoning, providing for rezoning of the approximately 16.56 acres of real property generally located along Southwest 30th Avenue in Pembroke Park, Florida, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached here to and incorporated herein, from the present zoning classification of B1, that's a business district, and M1 industrial district, to MXE, mixed-use entertainment district, providing for an amendment to the town's official zoning map, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Any questions? No questions. We'll make this a line item.
And just for the record, Mayor, for those particularly that last item, the rezoning item, there is certain advertising requirements in the context of a quasi-judicial item that we'll get with the clerk's office to ensure that we comply with.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Building Department, Building Official Nunez. We'll start with 8.1, the monthly report, December 2022.
Needless to say, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Is that on?
I believe so.
Okay.
Well, yes, it looks on. Needless to say that I support what consultant planner Mike V has stated. So just to let you know. Again, Miguel Nunez, building official, Town of Pembroke Park. And this time I'm going to be presenting the last report for the year of 2022. As we finish the 22 calendar and we are in the first quarter for 2022, I'd like to reinforce the efforts of an excellent customer service that the building department has. As I always customary say, I have the best staff under the building department and code, and at this point in time, also under the public services department. Just to provide additional information, during the month of November, December, we implemented a new software that was integrated. However, I would like to present that none of you has received a complaint about the software, right? It's unheard to know that a municipality switched softwares for building departments and there's no complaints. As a matter of fact, the customers didn't even know that we switched it. They just noticed that everything was changed colors and changed format. It was so easy to use. And the only one question that we have is, where do I pay? One person only. It's unheard. And that tells you the level of efficiency and productivity that the building department staff, along with code and everybody on the users for that particular software, has performed in order to prepare for that transition. By the numbers, during the December 22nd, we received, 138 permits was issued. Out of those, 55 were commercial, 83 residential, 85 permits closed. In inspections, we performed 435 inspections. Structural, 230, mechanical 79, electrical 80, plumbing 86, for a total of 435. The front counter visits went increased to 172. Even though we have a fully integrated electronic system, unfortunately, we still have some customers that love to come and chat with us, and we welcome and encourage that. Unfortunately, they don't give us the opportunity to bring coffee all the time, but we try to do it the best way we can. Also, in regards to the double permits, there were issued 28, and in the amnesty program, we have additional 3. And I want to thank the commissioners because the amnesty program was extended for 6 months. And some people will take advantage of that. Further, we did receive one additional application for payment, which it was sent to the finance director for payment. It's not here yet because that happened in January. I just wanted to bring a little bit more, but just to give you a heads up. In regards to the revenue, the month of December, we generated $125,751.73, and that's only for the building department on 4 disciplines. In regards to the large projects, 3 are in progress. I would like to inform that currently they are preparing for the panels, for the tilt wall panels being formed and the steel. It is a quite of a show when they lift the panels, and I would like to invite you at that time so you can see how a panel in a tilt wall is lifted and how much work and effort the contractor has to do. So that gives you a different perspective of what our contractors, our building departments, and inspectors, and everybody contribute to the town. Obviously, on regard to Seneca Town Center in the Wawa is almost ready to be issued. We're just waiting for the latest comments that we have communications with that. We're still waiting for the storage building, and the hospital is also ready to be issued. As a matter of fact, we already have the temporary fence to be erected into that particular part, and they are working on that. Like I mentioned, also in the Magnolia Townhomes right here on 52nd Avenue, we already issued the first review cycle. We're just waiting for comments to come back. And I believe since it's residential, very simple buildings, not complicated, and the comments were not that much, we should be issuing very, very fast. I don't know if you have gone, I mentioned to you before, O'Reilly. They're already almost halfway on their underground. They already finished the temporary fence. They put we had to wait a little bit for they put the privacy fence for the dust control, and the car wash is already left. It just missing for the shell, the front tower, as you can see it from Hallandale Beach Boulevard. In regards to that, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Where are we at with Amazon?
Amazon is still waiting for that. We did receive, Lucy received a phone call from one of the contractors because they have some small spark permits, and I believe they're working into that for the finalization. But Amazon is still there. I have word, we have information, or we're under the impression that they are going to be renovating interior building from robotics to the standard process.
Okay. I am very impressed with the amount of new construction we have going along Hallandale Beach Boulevard. And the other mayors have taken note of Broward County of what we have going on. Not just Broward. When I was at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, I was questioned heavily about our new police department and how that was going. And a lot of people shocked we got it up and going. But this also, the fact that there's construction now when they drive down Hallandale, they see the improvements to the town. So these are really adding to our community.
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to more progress.
And we are communicating additional developers for additional buildings, and we have received renderings for other parcels, and we are working diligently in bringing them to the town.
All right. Any questions?
I do. Doesn't pertain to that. On a different note, the roofers are done upstairs. Did you inspect it? Did it
The
pass
roof-
the inspection and all that?
Not yet. The roof, we have a first inspection, and they have some corrective measures to do. I believe they did it yesterday, and I'm scheduled to perform the inspection tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I do the inspection myself.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
9, Code Enforcement, Chief Code Enforcement Officer Ramirez. 9.1, Code Enforcement Monthly Report, December 2022.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Clerk Commissioner. Chief Code Enforcement Officer Jocelyn Ramirez for the Town of Pembroke Park. Here to report the month of December for code enforcement. We had a total of 10 code enforcement liens, 11 notice of violations, 38 formal hearings, 14 final orders, 4 amended final orders, 10 affidavit of noncompliance, 24 affidavit of compliance, and 5 order of abatement. For our December 21st, 22nd special magistrate hearing that was executed, we had 11 formal hearings, 10 confirmation of fines, 6 hearing that were abated and have been all paid, so those cases are closed. 4 hearings to extend time, and 7 authorizations for foreclosure. At that hearing, 3 of them were removed, so only 4 cases were approved for foreclosure, which I will be bringing those items forth to the commission for approval to move forward with the foreclosure. Today we had a special magistrate hearing at 9 a.m., so it was executed, but I will bring the details next monthly report. The following are before and after photos for December. The first set of photos, you can see that there's a lot of prohibited snipe signs on our street signs, pole signs, and fence. They have been removed. You see the after photos that everything's clear and cleaned up. The following photos is of 3200 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. You can see that there's exposed wires on the ground, a dead palm tree, an exterior building that needs maintenance, prohibited waste company, since Waste Management has the exclusive rights. Commercial has to get Waste Management as their service for waste. And the after photo, you see the new palm tree. The exposed wires were capped. Waste Management was contacted, and now they have the service. And the exterior building was painted. The next photo is on 5521 Southwest 34th Street. You can see some pile of trash there, and vehicles on sod. The next photo is a driveway that was permitted, and the trash gone. It looks much nicer. Next photo is 2701 South Park Road. It's a damaged fence that we got a report of. The next photo is the repair of the fence. The last property is 2111 John P. Lyons Lane. This is the before. The property was in disrepair, in blight condition, abandoned. The next photo shows that they painted, they redid the parking lot, paved and striped with permits, removed the damaged fence, and the property is in good condition now. Any questions for me?
Nope. Do you have any?
Do they still have bulk pickups?
Where?
They used to do bulk pickups.
Bulk, that's a public service question, but what I do know is that it's only certain residential zones that there's bulk pickups that I believe the town has contract with. I think it's the duplex next door, a residential home that we have on 52nd and County Line.
Uh-huh.
So it's only certain areas, but everybody else has to pay for their bulk pickup.
I got it.
Right here on the corner of 56 and Hollandale Beach Boulevard on Saturday mornings, they have a dump area over there where everything can be taken over there to the dumpsters.
On Saturdays only.
56.
Do you remember the hours? It's like 9 to 2?
No.
Something like that?
I don't remember the hours.
Yep.
I just know it's only on Saturdays, and you have to be a resident.
You have to show your
You're talking
ID.
about- yeah, I know where you're
Yeah, the
talking
transfer station on
Yeah,
56th Avenue.
about. I know where that is. Thank you.
No more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance Director, Finance Department, Finance Director Brown.
Good evening, Clerk Commissioner and Mr. Mayor. This week we were, I engaged in conversation with Mr. Manager regarding the fire fee. We're starting that process, and I'm sure Mr. Manager will provide additional details But that conversation has been started. Hopefully, or not hopefully, but we will have the resolution ready before March 1st. Secondly, we have the audit work that we've been working on. We have departments, mostly the clerk's office, working to compile some of the data that we need. Next time we meet, I will have the engagement letter for the commission to review. Next, I've been working with the police department, specifically Major Donovan, trying to correct the payroll situation. We did have payroll go out today, and it looks good. It looks good. So we'll see how it plays out on Monday. But we've been working closely together, and I think we'll see some positive change there. On Monday, I will run reports for the first quarter, and the next time we meet, you will have a first quarter report. So I'm looking forward to that, and just really giving you a heads up on where the town stands financially. Other than that, it's as usual in the finance department. Entertain any questions.
Just need to get a meeting with you and JC. If we can do it this week. Tomorrow, I don't think I'm available. I got a lot going on tomorrow, maybe on Friday.
Okay,
If not, we'll do it beginning of next week.
we'll work it out.
And then, lastly, it's your birthday today.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, I'm not going to embarrass you, and we're not going to sing to you. But we are going to tell you to go home and have a good evening.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
You go have a real cold drink, right?
Water.
Now that you're 21.
Enjoy your evening. All right, Human Resources. HR Director Friedman, you're up. 11.1, changing department name, code enforcement to code compliance. Code compliance department, HR Director Friedman. Building official Nunez, staff recommends approval of the department name change.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Commissioner Babette Friedman, HR Director. At this time, staff is recommending the change of the Department of Code Enforcement to Code Compliance. This is in line with what other municipalities do throughout the state. The goal of the change is to change the perception of the department from enforcement more to compliance and education. So at this time, we're just requesting the approval. This will include changing the job descriptions, the titles, the vehicles, everything over from enforcement to compliance.
I have no issues with that whatsoever. We got to stay up with the times and with our antiquated town. So, do you have any questions? Put that on the consent, please. 11.2, increase sewer headcount, Mayor Jacobs and HR Director Friedman. Staff recommends approval. I'll just start out and say this came from a request from staff itself to add 2 more to the department, which makes it function a lot easier, less call outs on individuals, and it's spread out over 4 versus 2 people. I apologize. I got this stupid cough that still won't go away. Go ahead.
Okay, so after several meetings with the Public Services Department, it's come to our attention that the sewer department is running on fumes and which requires more staff. And so we have come up with Finance Director Brown and Town Manager that adding an additional 2 people and then making one of the 4 a crew leader. The budget cost totally for this fiscal year will be about $89,000, but going forward it'll be $139,000. Of course, with increases and stuff like that. This will help with our on-call assignments, work-life balance. We've had employees on call for 5-6 months at a time. We want to make sure that our employees can have a life outside of here. So we're requesting approval to add 2 more maintenance worker positions, and then reclassifying one of the maintenance worker positions to a crew leader.
And I fully support this, as having more people will cut down on less overtime and, again, more work-home life for our staff that we currently have. Any questions?
No, I don't have any. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Consent for 11.2.
Are there any other questions?
Oh, no, but I am going to bring up discussion just for direction to put a cell phone program together. for the town. Sorry, not a cell phone program, a cell phone policy, usage policy for the town, with the direction of unlocking the cell phones so they can actually be used by staff instead of being nothing more than a paperweight on everyone's desk or drawer or anywhere because nobody can use them. So let's try and get that done as soon as possible. You're in agreement with it?
Sure.
No one uses their cell phones because they're locked down. And then there's, say, mayors that end up in another state and can't use their phone to use transportation because all the apps have been removed off the phone. So yeah, it puts you in a real bad spot when you're out of town. So going forward, though, staff members in town have also stated they all have the same issues that I'm having, including yourself. So I say direction to go forward and put that to program together and then bring it back to the commission.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That also kind of goes with the IT department. I know our IT director is at a conference and he's not here, but that policy kind of ties in with that. So 13, Police Department, Police Chief Howard, monthly report, December 2022.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner. 1,200.
Woohoo!
As I told you previously, 12 to 1,500 is probably going to be our new normal. In December, we hit 1,200 calls for service.
Can you tell us what the BSO's average call was every month?
500.
And this is what we're actually getting with the officers out on the road with
I have more
enforcement.
information coming on that.
Okay.
I pulled 5 years worth of data, and we're going through the data right now. I'm not complete culling it, but I will be in the next few weeks.
Now, looking forward to that.
I'll just give you the highlights.
Perfect.
8 burglaries, 9 commercial burglaries. 8 vehicle burglaries, 9 commercial burglaries, and 3 attempted burglaries. As you know, this town of Pembroke Park's a mecca for traffic crashes. So we had 4 rollovers in the month of December, 14 with injuries, and 42 crashes, which I'm pleased. The month of October, we had 65 crashes. The month of November, due to our traffic enforcement, the previous month it dropped to 46, and we've doubled what we did in November and December, and now we're down to 42. I don't know if I can get it down even further, but we're going to try. Domestic violence calls are pretty high in the town, I think, in my opinion, with a total of 11. Stolen vehicles were 5. We recovered 5. Traffic stops were 145. Parking citations were 28, I think. Alarm calls, 49. It stays right there. Misdemeanor arrests were 5, with felony arrests of 7 for the month of December. Any questions on the report?
Nope. Just keep up the good work on what we're doing here. I like the billboard.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply. It wasn't the town that put it up, but I don't know if anyone saw the billboard at Dell Village. The officer with the radar gun. It works perfect in the town. So whoever decided to put that up, thank you. Free advertisement for the new police department right there. And if you haven't seen it tomorrow on your way into work, take a look as you pull in because it's pretty funny. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I don't.
All right. 13.2, additional pro licensing for the annex body cameras. Staff recommends the purchase of these individual licenses as we build our body camera program. Chief Howard.
Unfortunately, when we opened, this is one of the things, the items that were missed. It became apparent, painfully apparent actually, after our recent homicide and 3 fatal traffic crashes where we have to share all our body camera information with all these various agencies. That's typically facilitated by detectives and our records custodian who's coming on board on the 6th. So we need these additional licenses in order to facilitate all these needs, as well as the public records requests, which are already starting to trickle in.
You have any questions on that?
No.
All right, let's move that to consent.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner.
Again, while I was up in DC, we were questioned about our new department, and people were glad to hear that we ended up getting open. So
Yeah.
we've got like mayors nationwide that have been following what we've been doing, which I think is pretty cool for our little town here.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you.
We're being noticed.
We're being noticed everywhere. Public Services Department. Public Services semi-quasi interim.
Miguel Nunez, interim public services director. I'm not gonna mention building official. At this point in time, I would like to get, and I know we discussed this before on the previous, and there were some directions to our manager, the town attorney, and things like that. But we discovered some additional information in regards to our Pembroke Park Boulevard. That was designated. We found the ordinance where it was accepted by the town commission. I'm talking about the ordinance was in 2006, and that ordinance requested the transfer of name in State Road A58. At that time, I don't know what name it is. I'm gonna say Hallandale Beach Boulevard for the sake of conversation. That was a State Road A58, and that ordinance say that it was pending several aspects of House Bill 953, and that was as a code designation. However, you have, and this ordinance was approved between the Interstate 95 all the way to 56th Avenue in Pembroke Park. And at this point in time, I would like to have directions and approval for the commission so we can start initiating the transfer of name by either contacting FDOT, contacting and have the proper negotiations with the proper agencies, obviously with our town manager and our town council, so that way we can effectively transfer from Hallandale Beach Boulevard all the way to Pembroke Park Boulevard, and the appropriate signage from I-95 to 56, unless I have additional information or additional directions by the commission.
So on here, it was approved, I believe, 2012 from the 95 to the 441. The state had approved the, and from that whole distance, that way as it was put, the Hallandale Beach Boulevard isn't checkerboarded along the way where it goes this street, this street, this street, because at the 441 it becomes Miramar Parkway. So let's get the detail on that for the whole thing. So if we're approved for the whole stretch of road, let's go with the whole stretch of road. And we would have to, do we amend the ordinance or do a new ordinance from that time?
It's actually a resolution.
It's a resolution? Oh, yeah, it is a resolution. I'm looking at it.
That's a resolution, I'm sorry.
And what we can do is contact, the resolution gets usurped by Florida statutes. So the statute says it'll be from
Here to here.
95 all the way to 441. This doesn't have to be updated.
Yep. Can we do the updated resolution
And all
for
we'd
it?
have to do is contact FDOT. It's a matter of just changing the street signage.
Right.
So I'm not sure if that's FDOT that's responsible or if it's Broward County Public Works that does those signs, like the ones on the
Yep.
mast arms that say Pembroke Bar or Hallandale Beach Boulevard.
Okay.
So we'd have to contact the state.
Yeah, my only other comment, if I may, is, and I candidly, I'll confess, I don't know if Pembroke Park has a traffic engineering agreement with Broward County. Many cities in Broward County do. Typically, they're historical documents and may have some impact on this discussion and the
Okay.
transfer of branding. So we can look at that as well. If the need
Okay. Yeah, then
I wouldn't know where that agreement is if we had one.
this is a mystery. It's a mystery box, and I assure you, if you open it, you never know what you're going to get. So this is one of those boxes that opened up and brought all of this to our attention. Let's just give direction to bring a resolution forward with the proper verbiage and correct this resolution number 110306.
Yes, and I will coordinate with the town manager and the town council
Perfect.
just on this aspect so we can get it to fruition.
Sounds great.
And we'll also reach out to FDOT and Broward County Engineering to see if we do have an agreement with them.
Great. Sorry, I've got to flip back and forth here. I got it on my phone. I got it on my iPad. So every time I click it, something else comes up. All right. So there's direction there. We'll go with 14.2. Salvage vehicle, Chrysler Sebring. We're recommending approval. Where was this? I must have missed this when I was going through the whole thing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Miguel Nunez, interim public services director, building official. This item is, as you know, we are trying to change the image of the town.
Oh,
In addition to that, we're trying to surplus anything that it costs more money than actually produces. This is a vehicle that it is very, very old. It's a 2007 vehicle, and it's very poor condition. It has been repaired so many times, and right now it's still sitting in there on the parking lot, and it's no use, and people don't have any trust on that particular vehicle because of whatever
I know the
condition is
vehicle.
there. So I'm requesting the town commission to provide directions or approval so we can surplus the vehicle and later replace it with a more feasible vehicle for the town.
this thing is held together with duct tape, bubble gum, and 2-part epoxy.
I didn't
So
want to say that.
I'll say it. This is like one of those that goes along with the dump trucks that we got rid of over the last couple years. So put that. If you're all right, let's get rid of this. Can you? Would you and the manager look into Enterprise again for our vehicles for Public Works?
We already had that meeting
Okay.
with them, and actually we're just getting the numbers together.
Okay. Perfect. I didn't know.
I had the meeting with, this was
So we're still waiting for the numbers for it.
several weeks ago, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'll get with you on.
myself and Roy met.
Get with you tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, well, whenever we meet.
Yeah. I got so much on my plate the next day or two. So, we'll get together and we'll discuss it. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I said consent, right? Yep. Consent. All right. Now let me go back here. Sorry, I'm flipping through pages after pages after pages. All right, old business. Any old business? No old business. New business? None. All right, discussion. This is all on me. So, we'll start with, we'll have a discussion about the town. And what the last 4 years of being here has enlightened me a great deal. When I build a business, I sit down and I start with a piece of paper. I start laying out what I want to do, how I want to do it, how it's going to work. And over the next few months, I build a business plan. It takes a plan to get anything up and going. When it comes to the town of Pembroke Park, I don't think there ever was a plan. The more I see things, it was piecemealed together. Here we got this. Let's do this. Oh, this is a great idea. Let's do this. Oh, like this town's doing this. Let's do this. And this whole town came about by piece by piece by piece with no real consistent plan. So right now we're working on a comprehensive sewer plan, a comprehensive stormwater plan. These are required to have every 5 years for the town, which are 22 years outdated, which goes along with the town on, I can't even tell you how many years outdated our town is. When I came here, we had no technology. Everything was on paper. We're paperless, almost paperless in the building department, except for our, required documents. Same with clerk's department. You guys have cut down. You guys have single-handedly saved acres of the rainforest. Pretty proud of that with the town, the way, the last 4 years have gone. But again, we can't just throw things out there and say, hey, we want to do this. The town manager and I were surprised one day when they brought forward $1 million building that we had no knowledge about I mean, I can't even tell you how many times my eyes have been the size of silver dollars, not knowing that there was a plan or this came about, or opening a random box and there's all this information that we knew nothing about that now we've had to deal with and come forward with. So with that in mind, I've been working, as many of you know, I've been working on an improvement project for our town park. If you weren't aware, we do have plenty of internet reviews and Google reviews on our town park. I've took those into consideration when I started putting this plan together. And I got them right. Sorry, I have so many things going on here. Give me just a minute to pull it up. On Yelp, our reviews and Google reviews, our average received for our park is 2 stars out of 5 possible stars. We have a beautiful park. I mean, I took our Representative Marie Woodson over there. I took our Senator Jason Pizzo over there. Everybody loves what we have. The biggest complaint is great events when we have the events, but there's nothing to do. Our park is boring. We had an incident with the playground during a Hurricane Matthew, I believe, in 16, where our playground has been so damaged that I have kids. Many of you have kids. We can't utilize our own play equipment. The tent never got put up. The sun has damaged the equipment. So it makes our playground completely useless. We did put in the tot lot, but let's talk about it for a second. The playground's here, the tot lot's here, and the restroom's right next to the tot lot. So if you have kids of multiple ages, you can't let the tot sit over here and the other kids play over here, because most parents, I hope to believe, are like myself and aren't going to let their kids just play randomly in a city park. So it wasn't designed and laid out well. So by doing this, I've actually worked with several people to put a plan together for our park and to actually put a full plan. So I want to tell you guys about it a little bit tonight. And I got to bring it back up again. Sorry, I think I got it right here. Our plan, hold on, right here. There you go. Sorry. Our plan, it's I'm calling it the Raymond P. Oglesby Preserve Park Improvement Project. So this adds to our park, not takes away, but really adds to it. The grant, there's a Land, Water, and Conservation Fund program. It provides grants to local governments to develop land for public and outdoor use. The LWCF grant opens in November of 2023 and is available by the U.S. Department of Interior National Park Service, administered by the Florida DEP. The maximum amount of the grant of the program is $1.5 million, with the 50% match from local government. For example, if the project cost $1 million, the program will be awarded $500,000 to the local government, and the local government would contribute $500,000. The value of donated land owned by the local government can be used to match with the pre-approval from the DEP. Pembroke Park could be pre-approved. The grant will cover recreation areas, facilities, picnic areas, trails, ball fields, tennis and basketball courts, playgrounds, lighting, parking, restrooms, concession buildings, landscaping. There's a 3-year completion time from the beginning of the signing of this award. So this is not an overnight project. We got to throw all the money up there and get it done now. We got 3 years to complete the project. The pre-development cost would include the cost of the project plans to be prepared, certified by an engineer and architect, registered by the state of Florida, the environmental assets for the wildlife preservation, 6 months, and pre-site construction cost. Pre-site development for this project is estimated at $50,000. The environmental assessment must be completed by March 2023 for us to get approval for this grant coming in November.
Is there a way that you could?
I'm going to forward this to everyone after the fact. So I have it here so I can read it. I'll give it to Marlon, and she will include it going forward so you can read through the whole thing. The project plan starts with the preserved lighting. If this item is for engineering design of services for the construction, lighting improvement, and the upgrades of the preserve. New LED lighting fixtures will be installed throughout the preserve, which will provide additional measure of illumination and safety. The estimated cost for these lighting upgrades and engineering is approximately $120,000. This will include the LWCF and the CDBG. I'm gonna mess that up every time. Second will be a concession and a restroom facility. We have plenty of events. This thing could be used for multiple purposes in the town, and it will be on the west side of the park. This project includes the design and construction of the new restroom facility located on the west side of the preserve. Features will add to the convenience and enjoyment of the preserve by the town's residents that utilize the park. Estimated cost of this facility is about $185,000. It's a LWCF. Capital improvements for the wellness program. The program includes upgrades to the exercise equipment at each trail station as part of the wellness program, with upgrades and upgraded trail resurfacing. This attribute will add to the enjoyment of the preserve by the town's residents and utilized by the park. The estimated cost for the equipment is $25,000. Again, this will be the LWCF grant. I will tell you, I don't look like much of a runner. I did join the NRA, which is the Never Run Again Club, after I graduated the police academy many years ago. But my wife makes me do it every morning. So 2 to 4 miles every day. I will tell you, if you run in our park, it is not runner friendly. There are corners, or we have 90-degree corners. It is not good on your ankles. Running itself, I disagree with being good on your ankles, but that's a whole nother story. So
Across the street to that restaurant.
I'm usually running away from my wife. So, but that's because I love her, and she makes me run in the mornings. But we have quite a few runners in the park, and I spoke to many of them. I go out there in the mornings, and they all agree. This will change the corners, so we don't have 90 degrees. We'll have swooping corners that make it much easier for running and walking through the park. Another section will be the relocation of the preserve, the kid lot. The project will relocate the kid lot close to the playground. Sorry, I have it listed kid lot close to the proximity of the existing tot lot. That way, if you have children, you're not completely across the park. You're all in one area with the restroom facility right there. It just makes sense to have them both in the same area. This will add to the enjoyment of the preserve of the town residents and utilize the park. The estimated cost for this is $35,000. It is included in the LWCF grant. Machinery, equipment, vehicles, and trucks. General maintenance and replacement cost of vehicles, mowers, trimmers used in everyday maintenance operations. Estimated budget for this cost is $125,000, which is in our town budget. Again, we build it, we must maintain it to keep it to that standard. Next will be the Parthenon at the Preserve Park, which will be our town's amphitheater. As you know, we have several events that go on, our music festival, and other events that we could utilize an amphitheater in the town. And we can add more to our town with it. A spectacular open-air covered structure with the stage extends the preserves recreation-only park to a full cultural and recreation epicenter within the walking distance for all the residents and commercial areas of the town. The structure has multiple uses: concerts, theaters, movies, screenings, and other performance and gatherings. The estimated cost for this facility and build-out is $1.1 million, and that's using the LWCF. I would like to take a moment to add, many of the elementary schools, including my children's, has a movie night. They like this Friday night, we have a movie night. We have 2 elementary schools in the town that could also utilize this and have their movie nights in our town park, where we could put on a kid movie early on in the evening. And there's so many uses that we can use this for. So I think this is a great idea.
I had a business in Salem, just as a note, that we had a park there where we did that. We had movie nights every Thursday night, and the place was packed. It was always packed.
Concerts, we got so much culture that we could bring to our town and add to it by just having an amphitheater in the town.
A basketball court in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, hold on, we're getting there. Hold on. The splash pad. Now, those of you that we live here in Florida, where it's summer year round, A splash pad adding to the preserve park. The splash pad is an automated, colorful area where it dispenses water through a variety of hoses, buckets, with very little standing water, offering a safe environment in which children can play without the risk of drowning. Many design options, theming opportunities, offer universal accessibility of these types with physical abilities. This option can help the town tie into the existing design elements or create new sense of place. The cost varies depending on the size and water accessories. The town's estimated investment will not exceed more than $75,000 using the LWCF and the future FERDAP grants for expansion and upgrades. So we'll start small and expand out as we can. Design it properly, and we have plenty of access to it. Now, if you have little kids, which I know you don't, I do. My kids love splash pads. It's summer year round here. It's a good place to cool off. And there is nothing down here in our area that we have besides going up to like TY Park that's got a full water park. This is a place that doesn't need lifeguards. It's a very shallow water where the kids can play and cool off. And I will tell you, even as an adult, they're a lot of fun. So, not that I spend a lot of time in them because I do with my kids. So, the other would be a skate park at the preserve. One of the main facilities coming to the preserve is a skate park, a purpose-built recreation environment made for skateboarding, BMX, scootering, wheelchairs, and inline skating. Most projects are rarely more than $85 a square foot and sometimes as low as $35 a square foot. The average cost, an approximate $55 per square foot for a 3,000 square foot skate park, will be $150,000 and will support ample skaters simultaneously. The park's estimated investment will not exceed $150,000. LWCF and the future FERDAP grant is available for upgrades for this idea as well. As you guys know, my kids are in a skate surf science course. We have a lot of kids in our community that absolutely love skateboarding. The instructor they have even teaches handicapped children how to skateboard. It's actually an amazing opportunity. They like to come and be part of the community and make sure everyone's included. I think this is a great option for the town as well. The social hubs and picnic pavilions. 4 additional covered pavilions are included in the design plan to encourage more outdoor activity usage while providing protection from the elements. Existing pavilions will be upgraded for uniformity, and the new pavilions will be placed throughout the park. The estimated cost of these 4 pavilions and to the existing structures will not exceed $50,000. LWCF and future FERDAP grants are available for this. We have lots of families that love to come to the parks for birthdays, holidays. This provides more places in our park once we build our park up to where it's, I think, more user-friendly. It's a great thing to have because then we have the more spaces. And I think currently we're renting them out for $75, JC? Is it? Yeah, I think it's $75 or $100 what we rent them out for.
Music fest that we just had, the
Last one, the Fall Music Festival.
People were coming and no place to sit, no place they either had to park in the grass somewhere or, and it was for older people, it was not.
This adds 4 more places in there.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Landscaping. So, landscaping, in keeping with the historical traditions of the town of Pembroke Park, is the nurseries of its past. Landscaping upgrades with assorted specimens added to the park's foliage will commemorate the town's traditions, along with providing shade, fostering aesthetically a sincere environment. Again, estimated cost for this is about $150,000 using the LWCF grant. Gradient surfaces. Installing of environment gradient is in specific areas to allow parking without committing to permanent asphalt and designated areas for festival vehicles like food trucks. Expanding usage. Currently, the preserve is utilized for holiday gatherings, food distribution. Project upgrades will designate the preserve as an epicenter for the community, fostering recreation, cultural, and wellness environment. Personally, this has been a lot of work to go into this for several people who have taken the time to make this happen for the town. But this is what I was talking about, a comprehensive plan. We have a plan of action put together, spread out over the 3 years, and we're not piecemealing it together. So I'm gonna recommend we go forward with this. I'm going to make sure, I don't know where she went, but everyone's gonna get a copy of this. It's going to be uploaded as backup, and so you can go through. Can you put this as a line item? So I know Ray's not here, but I'd like him to have the opportunity to look over it as well and read everything before going forward.
No, Mayor, you did mention something as a requirement for.
The environmental asset must be commenced by, I'm sorry, the environmental assessment must commence by March of 2023.
Okay, all right.
So-
I just want to make sure I didn't
Yep.
understand if it was completed or commenced.
Nope, the pre-development cost of this project is estimated about 50,000, but the environmental assessment has to be, or must commence by March of 2023, and the grant is opens November of 2023.
My
So-
point of bringing that up is you want to put that on the agenda to approve next.
Yes. Yeah.
Next meeting.
Yes. So that is, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
All right, enough info on that?
I'm sorry?
Is there enough info on that?
Seems to be.
Okay. You do?
Have to look at all the points.
You can read through the whole thing and meet with JC. JC can answer all the questions he knows nothing about, right?
Probably want to add to it.
There you go. All right. Park median, the park and median Christmas lights. We have a budgeted item for Christmas lights. We just passed Christmas, I would like the guys to start the Public Services Department to start purchasing the Christmas lights, the commercial Christmas lights, decorating the trees in the park, and we'll also be doing the median down the boulevard. So next year we're not waiting till almost New Year's to get our lights on. So within the budget to buy those lights, decorate up the trees differently, colors, have fun, you know. So if you're okay with that, I'd like to put that as a,
New light check.
do you want it as a consent or line item?
Line item.
Line item. And I have ideas for you, pictures. Electrical outlets in the median and park. This will again be back on Public Works. I brought it forward before. We have to change out some of the outlets. We have to add some of those lighting outlets through in the, I believe it's the north end of the park and along the boulevard, so that way we can light the whole thing up. JC, can you and Miguel, could you guys put something together for that?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's something we need to vote on quite yet. Just
Yeah, we'll just do an analysis, see where we need to do
yeah,
it.
see what we need to do.
And-
But
and
let's
get-
let's stay up on that so we don't fall behind and have Christmas lights with nowhere to plug them in. So and it'd be another epic fail for the town. We don't want to do that anymore. So all right, now everyone wants to know. I know you guys are dying to know why I'm dressed up today in my wonderful overalls and brought in a wonderful basket of fresh vegetables and fruit for us, for you to at least look at, because I'm going to take it home and eat it all. So we have a Pembroke Park community garden. We've had this community garden for a while. As you are aware, I went up to DC this last week. I met with the USDA while I was up there, explained what we had going on. And since the former commissioners have left and staff has left, someone took the time to actually go out and shut all the water off. Even though my wife's been maintaining the garden for the last 2 months, trying to make sure that it keeps going, someone took the time to actually go shut all the water off. And we were out of town for almost a week and a half, and did not know till 2 days ago that the water was off on everything. So my wife come back and checked on the garden and everything was dying. So my wife and I spent the last 2 days cleaning up the garden. We got all the water back on, trying to bring everything back together. But as part of this, we would like, we're changed the name from the Pembroke Park Community Garden to the Pembroke Park Community Farm. After meeting with the USDA, they actually offered to have someone come and meet with us, which is great next week that they're going to be in town, which is just coincidental. They're going to come over. They're going to look at what we have, kind of give us an audit of what we can do with our preserve a list of resources and grants available to keep it going. So on February 4th at 9 a.m., 2023, I'd like to do a little ribbon cutting, and we'll open the Pembroke Park Pembroke Park Community Farm, and just do a little ribbon cutting and bring our community farm, our community garden back to our community farm and bring it up to life. This is something that doesn't need voted on, but the next item that goes along with this does. We do these food drives. We do these food drives every quarter. We used to do them with Farm Share. We do them with the Feeding South Florida, which is great, but they're a lot of work. We've been doing them every quarter. It's a lot of work for all of us who have been very consistent with doing them. I would like to actually start a farmer's market for the town. We do and this I've already met with several farmers, talked to them. This wouldn't be something that is unaffordable that residents of our community could not come and afford. So this brings in fresh produce, local, all grown here around Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, Broward County. This brings basically it brings us a nice little thing to our town once a month. Fresh produce is great. I'd rather have kids eating, this than eating a bag of chips. But having a little farmer's market in the town also separates and slows us down from having all the food drives that cost the town a lot of money. Some towns do things like charge these farmers for coming in. I'm not that type of person. As you guys have figured out now, I'm a little different from everyone else you've ever met. I like to barter. So I thought in this case, we could work with the farmers, and instead of charging them a fee and the town profiting off of that, we do an exchange, and every month we put a list of things that we need to keep our community farm going, for fertilizer, whatever we need to keep it going. And in exchange for them having their space for the farmers market, that they donate what we need to keep our own community garden going. I got off of meeting with another mayor out of Maryland that has the same, they do a very, very similar program. So I'm looking forward to having a discussion with them on it. But I would like to go forward in pushing a farmer's market for the town, which also helps us with our community garden and preserve. I know I didn't get that out as easy as I wanted to, but that's what would be happening. So I want to put that on as a line item, so that way our other commissioner who's not here can have a discussion about it as well the next meeting. Sure. So, but the great part is I explained the circumstances of our town and how much below the poverty line, and this just adds to our community, and I think it would be great, something we could really use around here. So,
The farmer's market, I know up in Hollywood, they charge like $12
just to park. That's the Yellow Green Market. I've been going there since I moved here.
Save money and buy some fresh vegetables.
And then you got to pay for parking. We since we moved here, my wife and I have been going to we go to farmers market at least once, twice a month. And we try to go around to all the different cities. So we kind of understand how they go. The city of Portland, where I was born and raised, I hate to admit, has one of the most amazing farmers markets in downtown at the Portland State University. That is amazing. If you've ever been up there, there's one of the few things I highly recommend you go and check out, because it's beautiful. Plus, it's so welcome and inviting, which I would like to see more of in our town. Next item I have, the sewer staff. We already talked about that. Lastly, is the mayor's conference. I went up to the U.S. Conference of Mayors up in Washington, D.C. I said it last time I went to the conference. I'll say it again. Out of all the conferences I go to, this is one of the most beneficial conferences we have for the town, that provides the most resources. I get to have the close interactions with people who provide nothing but the grants and the money for the town. I met with the SBA, as we have approximately 300 businesses here in our town. I'm not sure, the list is always changing. I'm going to say right around 300. The SBA historically has not been very easy to work with. They would like to come to the town because they're changing the way they do things and help with our small businesses, our mom and pop shops, people who are running businesses out of their homes, to help get them into, their goal is to take you from the business plan that I talked about earlier to actually having a brick and mortar store. That is their whole goal. They have plenty of resources available, and going forward, they would like to partner with the town and help our businesses in our community with resources available to them. So in the probably next month, I'm going to try to at least bring the businesses in for that conversation, and I'm going to reach out and call them, see how many would be interested, but I'll make that happen for the town. I met with the Department of Justice while I was up there. I got some information for the town from that. I met with USDA. The list just doesn't end, but I think the greatest part of this trip up there was something that was near and dear. As a disabled veteran myself, I got an invite to go to the White House and meet the president. And on Friday, Pembroke Park was represented in Washington, D.C. in the White House with the president. I think we've come a long way to get that opportunity. And to be there in itself was just amazing. But the conversation that was had, I think, was better than anything else. The conversation that we had with his cabinet prior to the president and the hour-long talk he had with us was about small towns, municipalities, and how when they give out money from the feds, it goes to the state, it goes to the legislator. Nobody knows what your town needs more than your commissioners and your mayors. And we know what the towns need. We're the ones here. We're the ones that you go to the grocery store. Residents know who you are. I don't know about you, but they show up at my house all the time. So, and I don't mind. I set up during COVID a laptop and chairs on my front porch to help everyone out. So, with all sorts of benefits, unemployment. But the thing is they gave the municipalities for the first time direct funding. And that was the first time in history that they did that. And so the reason it happened is he's got a cabinet with eight mayors sitting on his cabinet. And they said that this is how it should be done. I thought that was great. So hopefully if they ever do another round, we get it the same way again. Because who knows? Our legislators, they don't know until we go up there. Like JC and I are going up there in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the 13th.
Yeah, 13th. We're going up there, and like it's madness. We sit there, go meeting, you know, trying to push our town's agenda on what we need. You know, our comprehensive plan we put together with those items. That's the only way they know what we need in the town. Building those relationships like we have with that I built with Murray Woodson and our senator is the only way we get those funds, because they work for us up there and trying to get those funds. So it was great to hear from the president that they were also thrilled how it worked out for all of us. But being there in the White House, I will tell you, and representing our town, I couldn't have a prouder moment. My wife was making fun of me as I was smiling like a little kid in a candy store. You know, for me, it was a great honor. So, but the fact that our little 2 mile town was there, that was kind of a big deal for me too. So, that said, I have nothing else on my list. So how about town clerk comments?
Nothing. Thank you.
You sure? Okay. Time's up. Town attorney?
Thank you, Mayor, Clerk, Commissioner. Nothing specific to report other than to say that your city manager, Mr. and your police chief are keeping us very busy. If there's any specific item you'd like an update on, I'd be happy to provide it at any time.
No problem. Questions?
No.
All right, town manager.
Yes, Mayor. As was previously mentioned, I'm currently working on the fire fee. We're in the data collection right now, and I'm work with Chief Kane, who is not here anymore. But
He snuck out the back door.
with Chief Kane to get, because we need 5 years of history. So I'm working with that, with them on that, and hopefully get that information next week, and so we can continue formulating the formulas and all that. And then we also had a meeting with Marty Kier's office, laying out step by step what we need to do. So we're on track, moving forward for the end of this year to have it implemented, if the commission so chooses to do so.
I'm looking forward to your formulated formulas.
Yes. And then lastly, the economic development study today. Clerk Commissioner Hodkins met with them. Unfortunately, Vice Mayor had to cancel, so I'm rescheduling with him. You mentioned earlier that you wanted to meet with him, not necessarily to go over, but you just wanted to meet with him. I'm scheduling that for next week. Once they have all your comments, you'll get that final report. Also reached out to the CPSM, and I will have their final report next week. They're just going to give me they're doing some final edits, and I'll have that for you.
I helped them out drastically with their editing.
So that they're sending it to their editor to double check everything. So
Okay.
and that's all I have, sir.
All right. Questions?
No.
All right. Commissioner comments. Clerk Commissioner?
I don't have any.
I think I've said all my comments, so I will continue on to announcements. We'll have the Charter Review Committee meeting Monday, January 30th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Planning and Zoning Board meeting will be Thursday, February 2nd, 2023 at 6 p.m. Regular Commission meeting will be Wednesday, February 8th, 2023 at 7 p.m. We're missing the pension meeting.
Oh, yeah, the agenda was done before this.
Okay, we'll have a pension board meeting Wednesday, February 8th at 6:30 p.m. Special magistrate hearing will be Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Workshop commission meeting will be Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023 at 6 a.m. And I am at, what? You really typoed that one and I totally fell for it.
We were paying attention.
Yeah, okay. I know where you work. You did. I totally read what she typed. So, workshop commission meeting will be Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023 at 6 p.m. We'll be looking for a new town clerk at some point here. And also, we're going to do a ribbon cutting for the Pembroke Park Community Farm, February 4th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Please join us at the preserve, open to the public. Everyone come have fun. So, and then everyone's favorite part, not mine. I love being here. Our meetings go so easy nowadays. So, no one wants to stay till midnight?
No, we're good.
Come on. Old time's sake. All right. Adjournment? Motion? Sure. We are done. I know y'all don't like it, but it's the only time